Namaste. So there is another interesting passage in Savitri which again gives us the secret of fate. We are dragged down time and again from our ascension as if somebody is there to clip our wings. And then we fall. And then we rise. Now we say that, okay, now I've understood the lesson and my flight will be wonderful. And then again the wings are clipped. And then we sing that song, oh, you did it again. No, because we don't realize that this perfection, He wants to shape us to perfection. So through this rise and fall, something is happening. Though it looks like we are falling, but we are advancing. Every time we go into a deeper depth, we discover something which was missing, an unconscious part. And when we gather that unconscious part and integrate it with our higher self, then the flight is also much higher. So this is the process of rise and fall, described beautifully in Savitri on page 34. He makes our fall a means for greater rise. This is not justification for falling, but it is something which is inevitable. And fall is not the way we understand it in ordinary parlance. Fall means that we are in a state of remembrance, a state of yoga, a state of inner peace. And things happen or don't happen. And invariably, and he gives a number of reasons why. The restless nether members tire of peace, a nostalgia of old little works and joys, a need to call back small familiar selves, to tread the accustomed and inferior way, the need to rest in a natural pose of fall, as a child who learns to walk and walk not long. Replace the titan will forever to climb on the heart's altar, dim the sacred fire. So from the yogic parlance, it is this. And this happens several times in any course of human progress, even otherwise in life. But why this is allowed? How we wish that life was just and it can be when the soul is free and turns to the divine with complete trust and surrender. But until then, this too, the supreme diplomat can use. He makes our fall a means for greater rise. That's something very reassuring. Thank you, Shri Aurobindo and Mother. Why? But why? For into ignorant nature's gusty field, into the half-ordered chaos of mortal life, which we think is order. See, when life goes very smoothly, we don't realize there are several blind spots. And we're very happy, oh, it's so nice, everything is comfortable. And people ask, how are you? Very nice. But if you look closely, you will see that this is a kind of niceness of a Mulla ki daud masjid tak. It's a very comfort zone in which we are entranced. It's an absence of progress. And then God says, time up. What, sir? For what? You'll take away my comfort? No, I'll make you progress. And then He shatters those limits. So suddenly we don't know because all the props are taken away. And all these artificial props to which we are holding, be it money, be it people, be it a place, suddenly collapse. And then we suddenly we realize that what we called as order was nothing but pactizing with disorder. We are living in disorder and we thought that this is fine because nothing was visible. So then what happens? For into ignorant nature's gusty field, into the half-ordered chaos of mortal life, the formless power, the self of eternal light, follow in the shadow of the Spirit's descent. The twin duality forever one chooses its home mid the tumults of the sense. You see that people who are mentally very controlled and they never, you'll see in Savitri there is a very nice description when Savitri enters into the kingdom of the mind. And Shri Aurobindo says, quiet country of the fixed mind. Why? Because she has gone after the kingdom of life. Life she describes as giant head of life. Leaping, torrential, full of passion, full of, all kinds of things. He'll raise you to the heights, crash you to the... But mind comes and says, no, hold on. So it brings in that moderation, that temperate sense. but it is a quiet country of the fixed mind. So it limits the movement, but also limits the truth. So at some point, one has to recover, regain. So mind makes us blind both to the godlike possibility, also to the titan within us. So you ask people who are living only by the mind, this is it. They are too satisfied. They cannot take the leap into the, that which is beyond the mind. It's frightening. Amal Kiran once asked Sri Aurobindo that, he has written so many books, wonderful intellectual, in the real sense of the word. So he asked Sri Aurobindo, I think it is my mind which has held on to the yoga, to your yoga. Actually, he was known outwardly to make blunders. He himself says, I had this habit of falling. So one day it helped me because I fell at the mother's feet. That's how he described it. So he had this tendency, vital, sometimes excesses. So Sri Aurobindo said, no, it is because of your vital. It could leap and suddenly in one leap cover distances which the mind would normally not. So but mind will not. It will always say, let us see, let us, somebody wants to join, let's say, okay, I want to do mother's work. With the vital, he'll take a leap. With the heart, we'll see later on what happens. With the mind, he'll say, let me analyze. He'll ask 10 people. He'll ask, Acha, ashram mein kya hota hai? What are the activities? What do you get? Show me a room, people. So when people ask me, I say, look here, right now you're not ready. That's as simple as that. Itni जांच पड़ताल पंचायत. To clarify, जांच पड़ताल. You can't understand, it's mother's creation. Either you take a leap or you don't take a leap. If you have the call, you take a leap. It doesn't matter. What will happen to you? That's how the mother says, and it can be very frightening to somebody who lives by the mind. She says, when you come to the yoga, you should be ready to go off every scaffolding to which you are holding on and just hang by the slender thread of faith. What happens to you tomorrow, it's God's business, not yours. And all who have come, if you take their stories, they took this leap. Mind will not allow it. Mind will forever, doubt, debate, give reasons. But at the same time, mind prevents us from falling below also. It prevents, restrains that, no, this is not good. So there is right and wrong, and it takes the car of life through that narrow passage. So, but we have to reclaim the entirety of life. It cannot be like that. There is energy below, there is energy above. And within even what is below, there is hidden a God truth, a light hidden in the darkness. So when we have to reclaim it, he comes into the tumults of the sense. He comes unseen into our darker parts and, curtained by the darkness, does his work. A subtle and all-knowing guest and guide, till they too feel the need and will to change. All here must learn to obey higher law. Our body's cells must hold the immortal's flame. When the yoga touches the body and the subconscious, things which we had never imagined begin to emerge. Because we all when we start the journey of life, we have very good image of ourselves. I mean, reasonable people have. We are the good guys, Bad guys are there, here, there. We are good guys. Divine says, okay, first illusion I'll remove. So he makes us aware that whatever is in others is also within me. There is not a single, there is an aphorism of Sri Aurobindo. There is not a single defect, what we call as defect, which is in others, which is not in me. It's just a combination which differs. And because of that combination, we think I am this and the other is that. But that's it. Nature is universal. This idea that it's individual itself is an illusion. So then, as the yoga begins to touch, all that begins to emerge. And why this is necessary? Else would the spirit reach alone its source, leaving a half-saved world to its dubious fate. So fate is, we are here for a work to do. It was very easy for Arjuna to take sannyas and say, I am the good fellow. then probably we would have said Arjuna is the father of the nation. What a blunder we did, no? Instead of saying Krishna and Rama are father of the nation, suddenly somebody comes in between and says non-violence and he's the father of the nation. How, what an absurdity can it be? A land of Arya Dharma falls to a point where it starts regarding weakness, cowardice, and all kinds of, coverings as, anyways, things are changing. So this Arjuna, who wants to withdraw, he says, no, come. Everything that is hidden in Arjuna, all the moha, his vishad, all that, even his fear. Can you imagine a warrior like Arjuna ever experiencing fear? But he experiences that. He says that my body is feeling shithil, it's numb with inertia. Mere gaat, my shoulders, I don't think I can lift this Gandhi at all. I'm shivering with fear. I can't fight this battle. Look at these people. It's a fear of another kind. That I may end up killing them. I don't want to kill them. He's overcome with moha. So, why this happened to Arjuna? Because Shri Krishna said, this part I must clear because he is destined to become my instrument. So, before the battle, he clears it for him. Had he fought this battle without clearing, maybe in the middle of the war, he could have suddenly said, oh Drone, please take my head, but that's not how, he is meant to act. So Sri Aurobindo writes that this maya, this moha which grips Arjuna, this vishad which grips Arjuna, is part of the working of the Vaishnavi Maya of the Lord. He brought it out. So, this is the reason why this happens. And then he says that through this rise and fall, we eventually grow into the fullness. So yoga is not just about entering some luminous kingdoms and remaining there. Certainly not Sri Aurobindo's yoga. Sri Aurobindo's yoga is simultaneously bringing that light into the darkness. So there is a constant waxing and waning of the moon. That is how it describes. Every time you reach a greater light, you have to illumine a little more deeper darkness. And so the challenges keep increasing. But fortunately, Mother says, measure by measure, weight by weight, gram by gram. The challenge is given to you which you can cross. So here are those lines on the same page. Each time he rose, there was a larger poise. Or soared above the peak from which it fell. Each time he rose, there was a larger poise. It reminds me of that game they used to be playing. Yo-yo, go down and go up. So it's nice if you know that he is playing the yo-yo with you. So why he is doing it? A dwelling on a higher spirit plane, the light remained in him a longer space. In this oscillation between earth and heaven, in this ineffable communion's climb, there grew in him, as grows a waxing moon, the glory of the integer of his soul. That's why even long back, one of the, yogis here, sadhaks, whatever you call him, Chotnarayanji, very nicely. I was just casually, he was talking to some 4 or 5 people and I was just present. So he was telling them and he made a very interesting remark. I'll tell in Hindi then, to get the flavor. भैया यहाँ तो केवल माउंट एवरेस्ट नहीं चढ़ना है, संपूर्ण हिमालय दर्शन करना है. This yoga is not just to climb to Mount Everest and from that point say, here you have to see the entire Himalaya with all its dangerous pits and everything, and then see the mighty Ganges, how it comes. So it's a fascinating journey, if you look at it like that. So, what is that integer of the soul? A glory of the real with the unique, a gaze of the alone from every face, the presence of the eternal in the hours, widening the mortal mind's half look on things, bridging the gap between man's force and fate. That's how we become master of fate. That, by taking the challenges, going through it with complete trust and confidence in the grace, up, down, and through all this, you become wiser, and take that challenge, and we become complete and whole. Made whole, the fragment being, we are here. So this gives us another very different perspective of fate. What is fate but a whole lot of movements that are taking place in the wrap of unconsciousness? We don't know it. So we say, I don't know what happened. It's a similar word like in science use the word chance, random, accident. But as you begin to know more and more, you begin to reduce those things because you are getting at the mastery of the forces that are moving material life. Same way in yoga, as we become conscious of all the forces that move us, above us, around us, below us, we begin to become truly master of our fate. And if you become master of your own fate, strangely, you become master of the fate of those who suffer through the same unconsciousness. Because all world is on a single plan. You become a master of fate because you have mastered certain forces, become conscious of them. Now these forces are not individual. It's like somebody knows how to tame a lion. He's mastered it. Or Sapera, the snake charmer. He knows how to catch a snake. Now, is it that he knows to catch a snake only in one area? Wherever there is a problem, the snake charmer goes and knows how to catch the snake. Because he learned the art. So that's why, that's the whole story about the wounded healer. That when you have gone through something and become conscious, then you are really able to help. And otherwise, plenty of people can give advices. That's the easiest thing to give. So give advices, charge some money for it. Because if you don't charge money, nobody will take it seriously. And it will have no effect. Okay? Whether it's a right or wrong advice is a different matter. But when you take money and people wait, oh, there must be something, If you just give a 2 penny worth advice, free advice, people will take it because who doesn't want anything free? But it will always be, oh, this I don't know, Let me consult with someone else. So, this just as an aside. So, we have to become conscious of all that is unconscious within us. And the more we become conscious, the more we bridge the gap between our own force and fate. So, there are challenges thrown at us for our growth and perfection. One more. Namaste.